ridiculous. Well, here's the thing.
Maybe. Sometimes.
Tell me about this. I want to know more.
Oh, yeah. No.
Holy cow.
We've had a lot of fun.
So now we are the high energy part of the year for me when I give up coffee. By the time folks are listening to this, it will have been a few days. I should be back to an even keel. But as we talk
it's
here,
a rough start.
I am
usually
sipping my Irish breakfast tea, which is caffeinated, and it's okay. I don't know. I've been thinking more and more lately that I may just give up coffee altogether.
Really?
Like alcohol before it, it's gotten to the point where there's less and less I can drink before I don't feel good. So I've started using milk in my coffee, which I never, ever did. I was always a black and as strong as you like. I don't care. But lately, it just bothers my stomach and it gets me feeling jittery. And so I'm enjoying it less and less and adding more and more stuff to it to make that happen. So I was thinking the other day, maybe I'll just, I just won't start again after Lent. And then I thought, well, then what would I give up for Lent? It's like I have to drink coffee the other 325 days of the year, so I'll have something to give up those 40 days. So I don't know. We'll see. I may by the end of it be coffee. But right. I bought a whole bunch of tea K-cups of different flavors and types, caffeinated and non-caffeinated. So it probably makes it less of a sacrifice. It's probably bad of me. I should probably just be drinking water.
Well, that's impressive.
Yeah. I've been doing it for quite some time. I've been seeing things lately that the Pope doesn't want you to give up stuff this year. He wants you to just be a better person, and it's it's really much easier to give up stuff.
It's really like my husband. Every year, you ask him, "What are you giving up for Lent?" He'll say, "I'm giving up Lent for Lent." His annual commentary,
and he goes to confession.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Really.
It's just the giving up something is nicely measurable. It's clear whether you're doing it or not. Whereas some of these other things, yes, speak more kindly to people, be more loving, give up, certainly a lot of people could use to give up snark at this particular time in history. Mm-hmm. But how do you measure that? How are you sure that you're not doing that? It's easy to slip and it's hard to say, I had 46 opportunities to say something mean and I did not say them. Here is my Lenten.
I only did it 30 times instead of 40.
See, you know what teachers would say about that is a SMART goal. It's specific, it's measurable.
Yes.
I don't know the rest, but
I am all about the SMART goals.
Appropriate.
I like things that are specific and measurable. I do well with those. Stuff that's not measurable, that's just, be more organized or be nice to people or do nice things. That's less define these items and quantify them for me, please. Mm-hmm. So I shall be falling back on the old easy giving up of stuff, as is the traditional way. Mm-hmm. But my daughter supposedly is going to give up her frozen lunches that she eats that smell so delicious while I'm eating my cottage cheese, so I'm all for that. My husband gives up ice cream every year, so he was madly eating the rest of his ice cream last night to get rid of it. And
but does that mean that no one else in the house can eat ice cream?
That does not mean that, no. We eat it right in front of him.
You just make it harder.
To make it hard,
so solidarity.
To make it a real, true sacrifice.
Exactly. You have to see other people enjoying that thing you can't have. I should get a bunch of frozen food just to help my daughter along.
And make sure everyone else is drinking lots of coffee.
That's right. Nobody else in my house drinks coffee, so that's not hard. Well, it's hard enough all by itself, but my son is undecided at this point, so we'll see what happens. But
about coffee or about Lent?
About giving something up. I get a lot of that's stupid at this time of year. So, but
my son has decided on sugar, which I will believe when I see.
That is not a smart. See, there's that could be quantifiable, but impossible to stick with. Plus, there's sugar in everything. So is it just like specific sweets, Or is it just...
He has acknowledged that there's sugar in a lot of things, and he means...
Yes.
He needs
to make a list.
And added sugars and that kind of thing.
Yeah, he needs to make a list.
He said, I'm still going to eat apples, Mom. I'm like, okay, good plan.
Well, that's a good thing.
Because you were worried about that. I don't know.
Wow.
It's a good exercise. I've been trying to pep talk my daughter about, that it's good exercise and self-control. We all could use that. And it's a good excuse for it. And, it's really not that hard and it's really not that long. But, we'll see. Talk to me in a week.
My husband, who used to practice Lent, does not, because now he considers him the cafeteria variety of that religion.
And he just passes the fast and penance part of the cafeteria line.
He picks and chooses.
And goes straight to Easter and chocolate.
Yeah. So, whatever. It's his shtick, not mine.
Yeah.
So, anyway, this is my shtick.
Excellent.
The intro to the Parenting Podcast, Parenting Roundabout Podcast. Hello and welcome to Parenting Roundabout, a weekly podcast about the things that parents are talking about, obsessing about, and complaining about right now. I'm Nicole Erdix, and with me today are Catherine Haleko.
Hi.
And Terri Morrow.
Poorly caffeinated.
Yes, I was going to say caffeine-less Terri Morrow.
Well, not caffeine-less, but tea caffeine instead of coffee caffeine.
Yes, well, that's not, I don't know. Can you compare? Anyway, today on the podcast, we're going to be talking about high school subjects on our speed round. Shout out some stuff we like on the Roundabout Roundup and do some shameless self-promotion. But first of all, how are you doing on the topic of friendship lately?
Yeah, we've talked about kids and friends, I think. But this week we're going to talk about moms and friends and whether being a mom interferes with the friend part of your life. I saw a Facebook friend, which is, one way we have friends these days is... Right. A Facebook friend who has a son with autism was mentioning that she lost a lot of friends when her child first deviated from the normal developmental path, and then she lost more friends in the teen years just because, you make friends with kids who are the same age, but then when they wind up not walking the same direction, it's hard to stay friends. You lose that thing that connected you sometimes. Or people have differing opinions on things, and that's difficult. So that kind of got me thinking about friendships and how my friendships have changed over the years and how it has or hasn't been affected by parenting. So I thought that would be something for us to talk about on the podcast. Right at the moment, I feel like I'm sort of low on the actual real-life friend department. Online a little better, but in general, I think it's more work than kid-related. But certainly over the years, there have been, instances where I fell into friendships with people because we were sitting in the same speech therapist waiting room or because our kids were in the same classes and we got them together to do things. And in our circle, when your kids get together to do things, the parents all sit together and chat. So you sort of fall into things. And then as people, veer off into other directions, you just kind of lose that. And it's like, I had those friends and now I don't. How do I feel about that? Sometimes I feel okay and sometimes not. How about you guys? Do you find your friendships being affected by your kids, or is it sort of a constant in your life without that? Catherine, what's your experience been like?
No, I think it's definitely affected by my kids. When I first moved here to where I live now, my daughter was 2 and my son wasn't yet born. But I saw a little thing in a magazine about how to, like an online site that was kind of like a matchmaker, mom group kind of thing. And it wasn't really, it was just a way, it was sort of like Meetup, a precursor to something like meetup.com, but especially for moms. And I made some friends that way. And so those were my first friends here. And in fact, my daughter and I were just talking about one of them the other day because we drove by their house, and the boy was standing on, he had just gotten off the bus and he was walking to his house, and we were just, she's like, I feel like when I think about being a really little kid, I just remember being at their house all the time, which is cute, and she still remembers, or she still talks about how she had her very first sleepover at their house because it was when my son was born.
Oh.
And we didn't have any family here. We didn't know anybody. We didn't know very many people. We had our neighbors, and then these mom friends. And at one point, one of them said to me, when you go to give birth, I will take your daughter, she can come and stay with us. And nice. I was like, oh my gosh, thank you. Because I didn't know what I was going to do. And she said, I remember feeling like I didn't know what I was going to do with my firstborn when I was in that situation. And so she said, I'll take, I'll have her. And we needed it. So that was really important. And
then at some point you've sort of fallen out of friendship with them?
Don't, like when the kids were, before they went to school, we would get together, once a week with all the kids and play. And now, as then once the kids got into school, it just became like, we don't do like play date gatherings anymore. And I'm still friendly with those moms if and when I see them, which is not often, and on Facebook. So
it's weird when somebody is like a big part of your life at some point in your life, and then they're just not. And you think back to that time and go, what happened there?
Right. And it's not like we did have one person in the group that just ghosted us before ghosting was even a thing.
Really?
Yeah, she just stopped responding to anything, and I still wonder, like, geez, what happened there? So, but
wow.
I definitely think that so many of my friendships are related to what my kids are doing. In terms of people, not so much like the only people I care about are the people that's not what I mean, but I mean, in terms of opportunity to spend time together, I mean, it's the parents who are also at the ice rink, and it's the parents who are also on the bus ride to Wichita, and, that kind of thing. So it's, some of it is just sort of opportunity, which,
It's maybe the difference between like being friendly and being friends. I feel like there at various times have been in my kids' upbringing, there have been lots of people I've been friendly with. Right. And, and then they just, when your kids graduate to a different school or whatever, you just never have any contact with that person again. But for that little space of time, when my daughter was in band, there were a lot of band parents that I was very friendly with. Right. We never did anything outside of that context, but, we would sit together at football games, or we'd say hi to each other. And if I see them now, we're all very friendly, but it's like they don't exist outside of that bubble. So I don't know if those count as friends or if they're just child proximity associates, to paraphrase Ron Swanson.
Child proximity,
But, and yet I find that that's mostly what I have anymore.
Yeah. I have the book club, which is nice. And I don't often see the book club gang outside of once a month at book club, though. Yeah. Mostly because of, time constraints that we all face. So.
Yeah, that's true. How about you, Nicole? Do you have you made friends just for yourself, or are your friends child related, or you have a little of both?
I would say that the friends that are just for me have been the ones that I've had most of my life. Yeah. So like my college friend and a childhood friend that I grew up with. Everybody else has been related to kids. Yeah. And all my closest friends, even now to this day, even though our kids don't really have much to do with each other except for one. They're still my best friends. There was a mom group that I met when I had Kristen when she was a little girl, and we would meet every Tuesdays, and we did that for 9 or 10 years. We would meet every Tuesday with our kids. So, and then of course we moved, and I still stayed in touch with them, and now they're still my best friends. But no, and then of course like any online friends I have. Like you and Catherine. There for me. But yeah, no, I haven't. And it's interesting because this past week, I had Kristen away and Josh doesn't live at home, obviously. So it was just Peter and I for the week. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is a glimpse into my future. Like, what am I going to do? I need friends. I need a club. I need activities. I need something because everything's been really focused around my kids for so many years and having outings with them and socializing with other moms. So
right. Maybe you come to a point when your kids get older that falls away and then you have to like find friends for yourself again. And it's like, crud.
I think so.
Yeah, I have to go back and do that. That was hard. I don't want to do that.
My long-term plan, as we discussed several years ago when Amanda was on the podcast, is that I'm going to move into the over 55 living
right. Well, there you go.
Country club. They got it all set up over there. They got the clubs and the golf and the this and the that, and it's like Insta friends. So I'm gonna hold it till I'm 55, and then I'll.
Hey, I'm old enough to move into that now, but I got these kids at home. Can I bring them along with me?
Wait a minute.
They don't include me in their friendships anymore, but they're still in my house.
So, no, it's like Insta friends over there. I'm telling you, I'm like, wow, I gotta.
It's kind of like a cruise every day of the year.
Yeah, totally.
Maybe that's what I need. Maybe that's what'll happen because I'm like in the friend doldrums right now. I have, I have one good friend, but she's got a lot of stuff going on, so I don't see her as much. And there's really not much else other than online people. I mean. These conversations I have with you guys once a week are like the most I talk to humans outside of my family ever.
I know.
And I do sometimes. I was going to the community band for a while, and there were people I was, friendly with there, but again, friendlier friends. But, if I don't go, they're still perfectly pleasant, but I really don't have any opportunity to see them, and I'm not looking for reasons to go out and do stuff. So... then you just realize suddenly that all the people who were friends with you when you went out and did stuff are still going out and doing stuff in your home alone. And it's okay. I mean, I don't have that longing for friendship I had when I was younger, but every now and then I think about it and I go, what happened there? And I think it's nice. Just that that you become comfortable with the fact that as being part of your kid's life, you will always be around other adults and have these friend-like experiences with them. And then when that stops, honey, can I come to your work? And are anybody else's mom and dad there? And I'll sit and have coffee with them? Not so much.
No, it's hard. And I especially I think when we work at home, because I know that my husband has a lot of friends and acquaintances who work. And he's fulfilled by going to work every day.
Yeah, that is it. That is a big part of it also is
definitely.
Every now and then I think I should go work in an office and just like connect to the human race again. And then I laugh and I say, no.
No, maybe not.
The workplaces I've been in lately, when I've gone for interviews or when I've gone to work on site every now and then, people are young, man. They don't want me there. There are no friends for me. I look around. Everybody's in their 20s and attractive, and I'm this little elderly troll woman. Nobody's going to be my friend.
Troll woman.
They'll treat me like their grandma and then go about their business. But I need to find people who are looking for copy editors who are old. I need to maybe ARP is hiring. They have a magazine, don't they?
Yeah.
Oh, but I bet it's all written and produced by 20-year-olds. They've taken over. Anyway, so yes, the workplace is also a source of friendship that I'm missing. But
Yeah.
Kids replaced that, and now the kids are moving on. So, yeah. Have you ever had the experience of actually losing a friend because of something that happened with your kids? Either your kids had a falling out with their kids, or they disapproved of something that was going on with your kids and you kicked them to the curb or anything like that? I'm trying to think if I feel like I probably have, but maybe I've blocked it out.
I think it's more like the attrition thing that we were talking about, that it's just, your kids move to a different classroom or a different school or a different sport or whatever it is, and you just don't have the occasion as much anymore. And it's not that you're trying to cut those people out, but it just happens. Yeah,
that is. But, I feel bad about it sometimes.
Yeah.
And, feel like maybe I should have done something to keep it up. But it's, we all have a lot of stuff going on in our lives, especially when you have kids with disabilities. There's always something. And it's like, I need people to come to me. And unfortunately, a lot of my friends are also parents of kids with disabilities, so they've got their own things. So unless we happen to be having our own things in the same place,
at the same
it's just
time.
not going to happen. Exactly.
Right.
Can we schedule a crisis for Friday at 3 at Barnes & Noble?
I'll meet you at the therapist's office.
Yeah, those therapist waiting rooms, there's a lot of bonding that goes on in those places, because you're just, especially if you're like, son was in a speech group for many years, and so we would all, every Saturday morning, we would all be sitting there,
right?
And you would just naturally struck up, child proximity associations. So, I don't know. What's the next step? I guess the next step is we all move into the 55 and over home and make friends.
Yes.
Make friends for ourselves, and then our kids can be friends with their kids, and then it'll be the circle will be complete.
Right. There you go.
Yeah. I don't know. Somebody I knew once said that, like, as you age, you kind of prune the branches of your friendship tree. So,
my friendship tree is like Charlie Brown's Christmas tree at this point.
It's a very natural experience. So I don't think we need to be too hard on ourselves.
We can feel a little sorry for ourselves, can't we?
Yeah, okay, but
as long as there's social media and Sandbox, I'm occupied. It's fine. But I do sometimes, I counsel my kids on their friendship woes and their wishing they had more friends, and I try to do a good game on it's not that important, and things will come and people will come in your life, and you just have to get out in the world and do things. And then I go back to my room.
Then you hide out in your room on your computer.
It's like, unless my one good friend comes and visits, I'm just here.
I don't know, like
room.
my mother-in-law, she's had this one good friend since, it's going on 50 years now. And like, she's really the only friend that my mother-in-law has. And
sometimes one is enough.
They're just quite content with each other. They're just, they come and go, and really that's all she needs. I mean, my mother-in-law, she's married and she has her husband, and they're both alive and well, thankfully. But she just, she has this one friend, and they've moved from the same town to the same town, like they've kind of followed each other around just by the nature of their husband's jobs. And and that's just kind of her one bestie, and that's the way it is.
I think some people do, that's just what's best or what's most comfortable for them, right? I mean, it's for kids too, and some people need a big group, and some people just need that one close relationship, and that's what works.
I remember my mom always used to have, she always used to at least seem to me to have a lot of friends. She had a lot of friends through church, and our church, for some reason, does not seem to be a font of friendship for us. So I don't know. Part of it is we haven't really gotten involved in anything. So I know, what are we expecting? Friends to come knock on our door? But that would be nice if that were a service that were available.
I believe we've already requested this from Amazon for boyfriends.
Come on, Amazon.
For boyfriends and girlfriends for our children.
I would re-up for Prime. Come on. Although do you guys on Instagram, do you have like random dudes following you and occasionally messaging you?
Oh, that's their what do they call them?
Is that an Instagram thing?
It's the catfishing. Yeah.
It's a little disturbing.
Yeah. So what you
do
need
you block
to do,
them?
Yes. But and the
one
way
guy
you
told me I
know-
was pretty, and I'm like, my profile picture is the size of a dime.
No,
If that.
this is how you know. You go back to their profile. You have a look at their pictures, which are all
it's like a whole
uncannily professional.
Their entire Instagram thing is just pictures of headshots. It's like, you are using Instagram for different reasons than I am, sir.
They're posted on the same day. There's like 20 of them, and they're all
I didn't notice
on the same day.
Yes,
and I even had a woman do that recently. No, I don't. That's a catfish.
that's a little oddity of Instagram. There,
Yeah.
we all use social media for our own needs. They're just like looking for friendship, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just try this random female who just signed up for Instagram and is posting pictures of things in her desk and coloring pictures. Maybe she would like to be my friend.
Mm-hmm.
No, I would not.
Yeah.
It's definitive. No, I would not.
No, thank you.
Pretty creepy.
Don't try it.
It really is.
Mm-hmm. So.
It happens in other social media occasionally, but Instagram it seems to be a little cottage industry there. People
Oh,
who
isn't
think
it?
It's
This
funny
is the way
though
to meet
because
women.
I have heard, I always read the New York Times wedding announcements, and also in other I don't know where else, but I definitely have heard, so and so met their partner on Instagram.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm like,
I hope it wasn't
I don't know
that
exactly
way.
how this is
Yeah.
happening, but okay.
He liked all my posts, so I knew he
Well,
had good taste.
that's what happened. Didn't you hear? Was it Demi Lovato or something recently?
Yeah.
She and some actor, I don't know, messaged each other on Instagram. It was all in the news, and then they got together and they started dating or something like that. Something's happened like that. But that's because apparently Demi threw up what do they call it? Oh gosh, it was on the tip of my tongue. She threw up a picture.
Yes.
And it was designed to get attention.
Mhm.
And,
As opposed to all the other things people put up on Instagram.
Exactly.
A selfie?
I'm just expressing myself.
it
I have
had-
no
it is-
desire for anybody else to see this.
No, it was.
I know what they
think
call
of-
it. A thirst
What is it?
trap.
Yes, thirst trap. That's exactly it. I was just going to say thirst, and I didn't know the rest.
All right, I'm feeling old now.
Yeah, so Terry, go throw up your thirst trap.
Then see them come out of the woodwork.
You might have some friends after that.
All your potential friends.
Pass.
Oh my gosh.
So funny.
See, these are the
well.
things they don't teach in high school.
No.
There you go.
Even though it's been a while since we've been in high school, they're saying.
Long, long while
Yeah.
for some of us. And things have changed in high school, haven't they?
We thought we would address that very subject. What is it that kids are not learning in high school that they should be learning? What subjects or skills do we think they should teach or they should learn, but that they're not getting alongside their American history and their biology and everything else? So, Nicole, do you have any thoughts on this as a former teacher and a parent of a high schooler?
Oh boy. Well, I think they definitely need a course on how to navigate social media.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of thirst
Speaking
traps.
of thirst traps.
I'm going to have to go look that up now. Is that
Yeah,
safe
you
to
need
Google?
to.
Do I have to use the untraceable window?
No, you're fine.
Okay.
Definitely, like, there needs to be some modern day, like, applicable courses that will help kids navigate,
Mm-hmm.
like, friendships
Hmm.
and, how to get a job and how to keep a job. And, I don't know, just like social emotional kind of stuff. That's
Yeah.
just sorely lacking in my daughter's school, at least. I don't know. But then at the same time, like, that would also include, for example, Like I know my daughter's friend in Canada, one of her PE classes is a yoga class. Like how cool is that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Your kids can just meditate and do yoga. And I don't know. I think there just needs to be more stuff around mental wellness as opposed to just all academics. Am I like too pie in the sky with that or what?
You know, I always think you're too pie in the sky, Nicole.
Am I too crunchy granola with
You're
that
looking
comment?
for that unicorn. You believe it's there. It's so adorable.
It is there. I'm telling you.
It ain't here.
Okay, it's not in New Jersey. It's not in Clifton, New Jersey. It's happening
Why
elsewhere.
is it not?
But
there are unicorn poachers here, man. If it poked its little head in,
kids
it'd be
need
a
more
horn on
direction.
somebody's wall.
More freedom, but also more direction too. In a way, does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
It does. It does. And I've certainly heard that a lot. I am, as we've established, an old woman, and I am uncomfortable with schools teaching much more than academic stuff because I don't necessarily know that I'm always going to agree with the approach on all the social, emotional, touchy-feely stuff. What I would like to see more of, which is probably still exists unicorn-like in other places, but does not exist in Clifton, New Jersey schools at this time, is vocational training. They took that all out because they decided, you know, that we live in Lake Wobegon. All the children are above average. Everybody goes to college, and therefore we don't need shop and homemaking and all these other, you know, things that might be useful to actually getting a job. So unless you're going to go to college. And then even then, you know, who knows what you're going to get at the end of the college. It might be helpful to teach people how to, you know, serve fries with that. I don't know. But I really, I wish that had been around when my kids were in high school. I think they could have made good use of that. My son did have one shop class before they were all erased, but certainly, you know, an auto shop might have been of interest to him. He likes cars, and I just, you know, can they teach people to be plumbers? Can they teach people to be electricians? Can they teach them to be carpentry trades? These are like growth industries now. Everybody else, all the college graduates are going to be replaced by robots and computers, but somebody's still going to have to come unclog your toilet. So maybe we could teach trades. Could we teach trades? That would be excellent.
Well, they used to.
They used to. And I'm sure they probably still, I mean, there's a technical high school in our area. So I guess if you want to do something like that, you get bused to another town and get that class. But it used to be right at the school you go to anyway. Yeah. And so you could still be with all your friends and everything, and you didn't have to fill out an application and compete to get into this other place.
Well, and you could get exposed to it with one single class.
You could, exactly, as an elective.
Maybe you develop an interest that you could then pursue.
Right.
Yeah. That's good, you know, to be able to take a little bit, and also to be able to say maybe when you're a junior, hey, you know what, I maybe don't need some of this academic stuff. I maybe need more of this vocational stuff, and not have it be a big deal.
Right.
Have it be what some people do, a different track, you know?
Right.
It's very frustrating that doesn't exist as much. So that's, you know, I'll teach them the social emotional stuff and how to be on social media at home. You teach them how to do something that will make them money later in life, please.
Right.
Whether it's academics or it's something more useful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know. I think it's a combination. But Catherine, what about you?
Well, one class that my daughter actually did take last semester was personal financial literacy, which I think is a great topic. I mean, she said that she would have been better off taking it like her senior year instead of her sophomore year, because then it would have more, you know, she'd be able to put it in practice more quickly.
Yes, that is a good point.
But I still think it's valuable. You know, I mean, she had a lot of questions about, you know, mortgages and even more basic things like checking accounts and savings, and it gave us an opportunity to talk with her about, you know, this is what we're putting away for college, and this is how, you know, this is how we do it. You know, when we just have it deducted every month, and why that's valuable and that kind of thing. So I thought that was definitely worth
that is very good.
her time.
That is useful.
Yeah.
And
somebody needs to sit down with them and show them what happens with credit cards if you don't pay them off.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff they covered, for sure.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to talk to them about how to choose a college that you can go to and not get into debt. So that you can pay off when you're done.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, they don't teach that stuff.
Right.
Yeah. Everybody's got to go to the biggest and best and most expensive, and they get themselves in a situation that's difficult to deal with for the rest of your life.
Right. And in middle school, my daughter took health class in middle school, which I thought was useful. And then as soon as she was done with it, they made it optional. I still think it has value for everybody, I mean, because it was everything from sex ed to nutritious food to, why disease prevention, hand washing, like all that stuff, which, I just think that, yes, kids need to learn that at home, but it's got to be reinforced at school, and it's got to be like constant, I mean, you can't just give them a half a year, 1 year. It has to be like all the time. And I think there's too many kids who don't get any of it at home. So some of it has to happen.
So wait, is it not in your curriculum at all?
It's in the curriculum, but it used to be required. It used to be something that they had to take, and now it's not. Now it's an elective.
Really?
Yeah. So
okay, yeah, still something we have to do.
So we got some suggestions. We may not exactly agree on what they are, but we have some suggestions.
Yeah,
that class on how to make your mother think you're listening to her, and then just ignore everything she says. My kids could use that class now.
I don't know if you really want them to take that class.
Yeah, maybe not ignore, but be gracious.
Well, we think that you should continue listening to our podcast, and remember that you can hear a new speed round every Wednesday through Friday.
I wonder if they have podcasting classes in schools now.
Maybe. My daughter's now taking she's taking a speech class, and that's required.
Huh.
I bet they do.
Do they podcast as part of the speech class?
They might.
Well, apparently they podcast as part of your son's science class, right?
That was just an option that he had. That was one of his many choices of ways that he could participate.
One more in the arsenal. You can make a cereal box, you can make a tour brochure, or you can make a podcast.
That's education today.
Up to the minute, yo.
Well, shall we move on to our Roundabout Roundup?
Sure.
Okay, so now we bring you some of the things we've read or seen or used recently that we want to shout out and share with you. Terri, you're up first.
Well, I will continue my series on customer service, pros and cons. I've talked about, shouting companies out on Twitter to get customer service. Last week, I talked a little bit about my frustrating experience with HP, which seems in their customer service to be aggressively trying to make me stop being a customer, which they did worked. Successfully. So good on them. Yeah. Their campaign was successful. So this week I wanted to shout out I can't say it's exactly been a successful customer service experience, but it's been a sincere one. We are insured by Aetna now for health insurance through my husband's job, and we were also insured by Aetna through his previous job, and we have been paying Cobra for a while in between the two insurances. And for some reason, Cobra never sent Aetna the information that we were paying through the nose month after month after month for this coverage, and Aetna thought that we had stopped it in August. So find this out when a large claim bill comes to me because they think that we don't have insurance. So I called, and everybody I spoke to on this was very nice. Everybody was in agreement that yes, we were in fact covered. And yes, it was just a mistake of Cobra not sending it. And everybody's in agreement that's going to happen. And the Aetna person every time says, I'm going to call you in 2 days and let you know what's happening. And they do call you in 2 days. Very nice, very pleasant young woman has called me several times because every time she calls, it is to say, well, it hasn't been fixed yet. So we are not to the point of actually having the coverage clearly stated so that I can resubmit this claim. But still, it's nice to be heard. You know what? I'm not sure the customer service places realize that oftentimes it's just nice to be heard.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to have somebody understand what your situation is, agree with you that you are correct, and be apparently pursuing a remedy. Whether the remedy takes forever or not, at least, you know, this woman called me today, said it's not done yet, but I touched back with Cobra. I asked them. They hadn't done what they were supposed to do. I reminded them again to do an emergency thing. Here's the number of that, and I will call you again in 2 days. That doesn't seem like that should be so hard.
Well, and doing
very
what
nice.
they say they're going to do is huge, right?
Yes. It just, you know, even though I of course wish this had been resolved immediately when I made the first phone call, but I feel really, really good about the fact that they are conscientiously trying to solve my problem, doing it in a very polite way. So good on you, Aetna. I'm glad that we are still insured with you, and I trust that eventually, somewhere along the line, you all will realize that we never really went away. That we were, in fact, paying twice as much for it
all along, guys.
a number of months. So that is my shout out.
Good.
Thanks, Erica at Aetna. You rock.
Your new friend.
She calls me more than most of my friends
That's
do. You know
what
what? I'm pretty soon I'm gonna offer to take her out to lunch. I don't know where she is.
Catherine, how about you? What have you seen or heard recently that you want to shout out?
Well, I'm just gonna go with, you know, that old standby, the Olympics.
Right.
We, of course, have been watching lots of Olympic coverage, and it's a lot of fun.
Yes.
And, you know, it's a shame that the time zone problem makes it so that, you know, you find out everything and then you can go watch it. But
I actually like that.
yeah, I mean, at least then
I don't like the suspense.
You don't have the suspense. You don't have to be like, is she gonna fall? Is she gonna fall? Is she gonna fall?
Yes,
you already know
she did.
she either did or she didn't, or she
did not.
landed that triple axel or whatever it is. So
Yes.
yeah, I mean, it's just fun for us all to watch. I mean, of course, you would think that I could be watching it with the whole family as like a cozy little thing, but no,
Right.
I usually am watching it at the ice rink while one of my kids is on the ice. And I'm waiting for their practice to be over. So, but
Well, are they real interested in watching the events that they participate in similar things to? Has your son been watching the luge? Has your daughter been watching the
not
figure
as
skating?
much as you would think. I mean,
Would
partly
think.
because they're busy actually doing it. Like, he has hockey practice
Yeah.
and she's skating and things like that. But yeah, the other day, my husband was like, luge is on. And he's like, yeah, I'm playing a video game, whatever, you know, he won.
Well, wasn't there like an American luger who won the first ever medal in that sport? Was it luge or one of those
it was
other
the first
hurtling down a icy
I
thing?
believe it was the first American man to win a medal in luge.
Uh-huh.
Because I think one of the women had won one before. But anyway,
Yeah.
yes, and we had seen that very guy training in Lake Placid. I have a video clip of him.
How exciting.
Like a 5-second video of him
Very
shooting.
cool.
And this is thrilling to you, and your son
He's
is
like,
like,
yeah, that's cool. Okay, I'm going back to this video game now.
The thing I like best about the Olympics is just the fact that it's on so much of the time. That you can always pretty much, if you're willing to go all around the dial, find Olympics somewhere at pretty much whenever you want something on in the background.
This
I
is
enjoy
like
that.
your background,
little break from HGTV.
your background TV channel
Excellent
that we discussed.
multitasking.
Remember?
Until the commentators start blabbing. But just the sport part itself is very nice multitasking entertainment.
Well, while you guys are shouting out your items for this week, I sit here and eat my ketchup chips, which I'm going to give a big shout out.
You got your ketchup chips.
They don't ever disappoint. They bring me so much happiness, and they have for like 45 years, and they haven't changed the formula. They haven't changed the packaging. Well, they did once, like years ago, but
they are your best friends.
They're my best friends.
To bring it back to our theme.
My daughter brought me back this big bag of ketchup chips, and I've been savoring them for the last couple days, and
totally worth sending your child out of the country for.
Yes, totally worth sending her on her own adventure.
Just think, when she goes to college there,
right.
you can
she can constantly be
you know, like how parents send their kids care packages from college. She can send you care packages from college.
Exactly. One of those Amazon boxes that you can send.
You'll send her cookies, and she'll send you ketchup chips. Yeah. It'll work out great.
Yeah. So it was wonderful to have her home, and it was also wonderful to have a bag of ketchup chips. And it has to be a specific brand, because people think that they can give me this other brand of ketchup chips, and it's not the same. Like, just don't even bother.
What is the preferred brand?
Well, the preferred brand
for our listeners
is Old Dutch ketchup chips.
And what is the imposter?
The imposter is Lay's.
Oh. Yeah, I wouldn't expect Lay's to be real authentic.
So, don't bother. If you're getting me ketchup chips, don't want the Lay's.
You don't even want them? You won't eat them?
I'll eat them, because they're there.
But she won't like it.
It's not
She'll be disapproving.
I won't be excited to eat them. However, if they were Old Dutch, so if Old Dutch is listening and wants to send me like a big box, like a year's supply of ketchup chips, I'll happily talk about their ketchup chips for the next year.
Well, we will tag them on, if they're on Twitter, they will get tagged. Come on, we need a sponsor. We don't even need money. Just send us free stuff and we'll mention you.
Because then they'll need to send some to Terri and me so we can taste them, because I've never had them.
Talk about them and fully give the,
of course,
give it the old
I highly doubt that's something that you'll take a liking to, because you kind of have to grow up with them, but
do they involve like potatoes fried in oil?
Well, yeah,
I am there.
Okay.
You had me at potatoes fried in oil. Okay. Really, what goes on after that is not my concern.
So yes,
that is what we have enjoying. Somebody put us on a Twitter list of Canada-related resources, so I think that ketchup chips should.
We're definitely qualified.
Occasionally we hashtag Canada when Nicole talks about something, and we're now followed by Canadians.
Cool.
So send us ketchup chips, y'all.
Old Dutch.
We'll talk about you.
Don't bother with the Lay's.
You can send me the Lay's. Lay's, you can send me anything you want, Lay's. I like your potato chips. They're nice and thin and crispy, which makes them oilier, which is great. I'm in it for the oil and the salt and the potato and really oil. The crunch and anything. Let's move off of this, because I'm.
You're gonna be hungry soon.
Yes, I have no potato chips in my house, and this is making me depressed. So let's move on to shameless self-promotion. For our final segment today, we're going to do a little shameless self-promotion and direct you to some things on our sites that we think you should take a look at. Catherine, you're back into having something to mention for this feature, aren't you? Tell us all about it, will you?
I have a piece that's new at readersdigest.com. 14 little ways to instantly turn a bad mood around. So since I wrote this months ago, it did brighten my day when it was actually finally published. So there you go. Check
Seen the light of pixels. Excellent. How about you, Nicole? Do you have something to talk about?
I kind of I updated my website, and I kind of reorganized it, so I hope it's easier to navigate. So there's a few more tabs on there. I've kind of taken off articles that no longer are, relevant. I just kind of did a little overhaul. I mean, it's nothing significant, but I think it's more user-friendly. So your user experience will be much more pleasant.
Excellent.
So that's at theinclusiveclass.com.
Nice. I don't have anything new, but I will say I have been enjoying Instagram aside from the random dudes. And am continuing my deskivation and also posting sandbox things that I am particularly proud of. So if, if you're a person who's actually just interested in seeing what I post and not in getting a date with me, please go ahead and follow me. I'm at terri.morrow.
Awesome.
If you are trying to get a date with me, I will tell my husband about it and we will laugh and laugh. So, and then he will forbid me from using social media ever again.
Awesome.
And really, you don't want to have a date with me. I'm very boring. So.
All right. That's going to be it for this week's episode of Parenting Roundabout. You never know where it will take us, our conversation. And here is where it comes to an end for this week.
It's hard to believe we don't have that many friends, isn't it?
We hope that you enjoyed this and that you will be our friend forever and ever. And join us every week for our podcast. You can listen to our episodes on parentingroundabout.com or download them from Apple Podcasts or other podcast providers. Please subscribe so that you'll get all of our podcasts and mini podcasts. You can follow us on Twitter, where I am at CHaleko, Nicole is at Nicole Eridix, and Terri is at Mamatude. And you can follow the podcast on Twitter too, that's Roundabout Chat, and look for us on Facebook, Pinterest, Tumblr, YouTube, and Instagram. Best of all, just stop by our podcast page at parentingroundabout.com and read recaps, find links on all the stories we've mentioned, and talk back in the comments. Thanks to John Moran at johnjmoran.com for providing our in and out music, and I wish everyone a great week.